Well, what's going on, you guys? This is Just Say the Truth on the All Sports All Plays Network. This is the one and only Freddie Henderson. I'm not in a good mood this evening, but I'm not going to go into it until I introduce the rest of my crew. At the bottom, we have Jonathan Mathis down there in Southern California in his patio. What's up with it, Jonathan?
Hey, what's going on, Freddie? What's going on? Cole, how you guys doing tonight?
Excited to be here. This first one I'm breaking it in, and I'm excited to be here.
Hey, it's a pleasure to have you, my friend.
Thank you.
Some new people on board. It's nice to have you here.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. So thank you for that.
Yeah, like Jonathan said, Cole's new to the team. Cole would have warned you what you about to see is not about to be pretty. It's about to be ugly. You know, I just have to get something off my chest. Before we get into the show, last week I made Jonathan apologize. I owe an apology right now. To all LA residents, I'm sorry. To all Laker fans, I'm sorry. To all Kobe Bryant fans, I'm sorry. To all Michael Jordan fans, I'm sorry. You know, this past year, I went on a huge rant saying how LeBron James is that dude. How LeBron James is better than Kobe Bryant. How LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan. I was 100% wrong. 100% wrong. You guys saw the game yesterday. You guys saw what he did yesterday on the court. You guys saw what he presented us fans, his teammates with yesterday, how he represented the Los Angeles Lakers yesterday. You seen it. Cole's seen it. Jonathan seen it. I've seen it. You got to be better. I'll talk about it a little bit more. Jonathan, what was your thoughts on that disaster on yesterday?
Well, it was an utter embarrassment. You know, the Lakers, didn't perform well at all. It's as if they gave up on themselves. You know, they didn't only give up on themselves, they gave up on the entire city. They gave up on the fans. It was a poor effort on both ends of the floor. It turned into a catastrophe. At first, it was a close game, right? And Freddie, you told me not to give up hope. Remember you told me that? You said the game just started. And then next thing you know, it turns into a complete blowout, into an utter mess, and the rest of the night just was a disaster, an utter disaster. I mean, you use whatever word you want to use to describe that game last night. A massacre, obliteration, demoralization, because the Lakers were demoralized in that game, and that type of loss is deflating, to say the least. It's a deflating loss, and this could affect them mentally throughout the rest of the series. The Lakers are fighting for their lives tomorrow night. Their playoff hopes are on the line. Their playoff aspirations could end tomorrow night with a loss. And LeBron, a guy who's supposed to take on leadership and who has taken responsibility as a leader on this team, I didn't see that last night from LeBron James. I saw a guy who was disengaged. I saw a guy who looked lost. I saw a guy who simply didn't give a damn. Excuse my language, who simply give a damn and just said, you know what, to hell with it. We could try it in game 6. We'll come back in LA and we try it again. LeBron James looked undefeated. I mean, he looked, at first he looked undefeated because it looked like it was going to be a big night for him. Looked like he was going to put on a monster performance, right? And then by the time they got to the end of the first quarter, early in the second quarter, you seen a LeBron James who looked very defeated. A guy who looked as if he didn't want to show up, as if he didn't want to be there. That's what I saw last night, Freddie and Cole. I saw a guy who looked like he didn't want to be there. And then you have the audacity to walk off the floor with 5 minutes left in the game. Why are you going to walk off the floor? That's how embarrassing it was. It was so embarrassing that LeBron James literally walked off the floor with 5 minutes left in the game. Terrible. Absolutely It's an absolute disgrace. And now there's memes all over the internet, blowing up everywhere, making fun of LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I posted some of these memes, so I'm guilty of that as well. But you know what? The Lakers brought it on themselves. And the way they played last night, they deserve to lose. Bottom line.
First of all, who commented on this show? Second of all, Jonathan, you're absolutely right. Like I said, I apologize to the LA fans, Laker fans, Kobe fans, the city of California. I was totally disrespectful to put LeBron James over Kobe Bryant. Because you know why? I'm not saying Kobe would have won that game. But you know what Kobe would have done? Do you know what Kobe Bryant would have done? From the
tip, walked out.
He wouldn't have walked off. He would have, from the tip, he would have went out shooting. He would have went out blazing. That's what Kobe Bryant would have done. Win, lose, or draw. And you know what, LeBron? I don't want to hear anything about you saying you have big shoulders to carry. You can carry the load. Obviously not. And I'm going to say something I haven't said before. Jonathan, I said it was blasphemy for you to say this. Maybe Anthony Davis is hiding the father time of LeBron James. Because we see him without LeBron AD, he's a totally different player. With AD, he still looks good. Maybe Anthony Davis is covering it up. And Anthony Davis, it sure would be nice to see you not get hurt again. It sure would be nice to see you be able to play. And let me say one other thing. Dennis Schroeder, can you give us something other than 0 points? Where were you? The $100 million man that you want to get paid. The $100 million man that want to get paid. Can you give us something other than a goose egg?
Well, he's going to have to go somewhere. Well, where else if he wants to get that $100 million? Because it certainly won't be from the Lakers playing like that.
Before I let Cole get in here, I need to promote this real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, in 30 minutes, Talk Your Talk with Eric. With Eric Holmes is going to be coming on the network, going on live. They'll have Rachel Hill coming on as well. So tune into that. Kenny. No, LeBron's no superhero. He lost his powers. He like Black Lightning. He lost his power. Cole, take over. What's your thoughts on that?
Okay. My problem is when LeBron goes down, all the playmaking on the Lakers goes down. You know, you mentioned Dennis Schroeder. I saw the 0 points too. I saw the 0 for 9 shooting performance. I saw it all. It was bad. It was genuinely bad. But what he brings to the table, he doesn't always have to score. He can pass. He can create off the dribble. That's what. And he had 1 assist last night. 1 assist as a point guard. And LeBron had 7. The next closest was 2. And that was Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who went down with an injury. So the rotational guards were not very good at all. Where's the Caruso that was in the bubble? Kentavious Caldwell-Pope's going down with an injury. Your center rotation has been putrid with Drummond and Gasol. So I'm not taking any of the blame off LeBron. LeBron had 24, 7, and 5. I've seen the LeBron James story. I grew up a Bulls fan.
Cole, what you not going to sit up here and do? People want to say that he scored 10 points. When did he score them points? He scored the points when the game was over.
Yeah, he scored them early, and they were meaningless points. I went in just like you guys expected a prototypical LeBron James down in a series or tied in a series game. 37, 5, and 5 or whatever it is when he was with the Cavs or the Heat. I saw it against the Bulls. I saw it against the Bucks. I saw it all the time as a kid growing up. It made me I love watching LeBron, but as a kid it made me hate him because he always beat my teams because he was always 35 and 5. He was always hitting big shots. I don't see that same LeBron. I don't see that same, that Miami LeBron, that Cleveland LeBron. I don't see that like same almost, I don't want to say passion, but like fight in him this year. I saw it in the bubble a little bit last year, but I don't see the same fight I saw when he was lost after the Mavericks series. I feel like he got his ring in LA. Now he just wants to make Space Jam. He wants to do movies with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, and he's just good with it. That's kind of how I feel.
Exactly. And let me add to that. He is too passive now, okay? And like I told you, Freddie, before, and you didn't want to listen to me. You didn't want to believe me. You didn't want to hear me out when I told you this. He is fighting against father time. I'm going to say this again. He is fighting against father time. LeBron is approaching age 37, okay? There's a lot of young players in this league who are far more explosive, who are faster, who are younger, who are more fresh than LeBron James. Okay, and LeBron James has lost a step. I think I told you that before as well. So it is showing in his game because some days he's aggressive. He's creating plays for his teammates. He's making everybody better on the floor around him. He elevates everyone else's game when he wants to. And then there's nights where he just goes AWOL on the Lakers. What are you doing, dude? I understand that he delivered an NBA championship courtesy of Anthony Davis. Let's not leave that out. Without Anthony Davis, the Lakers would not have won that championship last year. I tell you that again as well, too. Without Anthony Davis, they need each other. Those two guys need each other. If Anthony Davis is not on the floor, LeBron doesn't win. If LeBron is not on the floor, AD doesn't win. It's as simple as that.
And Cole, I know you went into this whole little detail about he's a good pal, so he get his teammates involved. But you know what? It comes to a point when he said, "You know what? My teammates not making shots. I need to take over this game." There was a moment I remember Kobe Bryant said, "You know what? Give me the ball. You get the hell away from me. And you play defense." So there comes a point where you superstar say, "You know what? I'm taking you there." And there's too many times in LeBron James' career where he runs from the action. Am I saying that he's 100% wrong with the reason why the Lakers lost last night? No, I am not. But he's about 85%. I have to blame on Frank Vogel for not getting Montrezl Harrell in the game much sooner when the energy was down. You need somebody to bring some energy to your team. Bring in Montrezl Harrell, a former Sixth Man of the Year. Why are we still playing Marc Gasol?
Right.
Alex Caruso, why are you taking all these shots and you can't shoot? Dennis Schroeder, give us something other than zero. Kuzma finally had a scoring game, but hey, who cares?
All right.
Markieff Morris. I'd rather have Jerry Dudley out there. I mean, that's how bad it was last night. But there was other games on.
One more thing on LeBron, because I'm glad Jonathan brought it up. He looks like he's lost a step. He's looked like he's lost a step defensively. He don't get me wrong, he still's got the chase down blocks. He's still a strong defender. But these younger guys, they don't play afraid of him anymore. When he was in Miami, you had that kind of fear of like LeBron is going to lock you up. You saw that with the KD Thunder series when they won the ring. KD was kind of don't come at the king. You saw that with Kawhi in the first series. Now the second series, he got back at him with Kawhi and Timmy in that second Spurs series. We don't have to get too deep into it. But you see, Devin Booker is not afraid to come at him. DeAndre Ayton is not afraid to go at him. It is a different LeBron, and these younger guys are recognizing it and almost kind of picking at him like a scab on defense because he's not quick enough. Maybe that ankle injury is still lingering. I don't know. I can't speak for him, but it's different game to watch now as these younger guys are not afraid.
That's no more excuses, Cole. I don't want to hear nobody mention the injury. You know why? Because the other game, Alex Caruso threw a lob off the backboard. And guess who dunked it? LeBron. Yep. LeBron have dunked it too many times. If he's hurt, he wouldn't be doing all those things he's doing on the court. So I don't want to hear anything about an injury because I'm clearly the dude is when he's winning, he can dunk all over people. He can do a dunk show. But when he's losing, he want to carry his behind into the locker room 5 minutes left in the game. That's right there just shows a lack of leadership. You disrespected your team. You are the leader. You're supposed to set the example for your teammates, and he did not display that on yesterday. And you know what? As a Laker fan, I got to keep it real. This show's called Just Say the Truth. I'm telling the truth. Maybe Anthony Davis is covering up a lot of that father time.
I'm telling you, he's the main man now. The only thing with him is his health. If he can stay healthy for a full season, he's dangerous.
And let's be honest, you guys.
Made of glass.
And let's be honest, you guys.
And let's be honest, the Lakers have been walking on broken glass all year because Anthony Davis is fragile. Like I told you before too, Freddie.
Let's be honest. Devin Booker beat the Lakers. Nobody else really beat us yesterday. I mean, let's look at these points.
Chris
Devin
Paul
Booker
was hurt,
scored
wasn't
30.
he?
Huh?
Chris Paul got hurt, didn't he?
Yeah. Devin Booker scored 30 points. The next person who scored the most points, guess who it was? It was Cameron Payne who scored 16. Jamal Bridges scored 13 points. Devin Booker beat the Lakers by himself. He came out the first half coming on a mission. Nobody on the Lakers could stop him at all. And you know what? Quite honestly, I hate to say this, but I'm not sure if the Lakers win another game in this series. Just what they showed yesterday. I wish they would, but what should I base my opinion on them winning another game on what they showed us on yesterday?
That performance was a momentum killer. It was a momentum killer. I don't know if the Lakers can recover from that. I honestly don't know.
I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on for a minute and get a little conspiracy heavy. Last time Lakers were in a Game 6 was the King series, or like a Game 6 down. Was that King series where the refs kind of took over the game. That's all I'm going to say.
No, don't say that on this show, bro, because there's somebody in the comments by the name, last name Cruz, first name Ray, and he's going to ready to attack there if the Lakers do win. So.
In 2006, they lost Game 6 too to the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, that's right, yeah. But
that year they lost. They should have won that game because Game 7 they got destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
That's when Phoenix came back from a 3-1 deficit to defeat the Lakers that year.
All I'm saying is, like, if DeAndre Ayton plays a big role in this series because the Lakers' big kind of in shambles and he's been really good. He goes down with like 4 fouls, or like if you see like a couple quick fouls calling, I'm just saying put the tinfoil hat on. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, gentlemen, we had 2 games on last night. One was not interested in watching, the Lakers, and one was must-see TV. When you talking about the Portland Trailblazers and the Denver Nuggets. Ooh, went to double overtime. Game time, Dame time. Ooh. Ray, you funny. Freddie, you know what? You call me a LeBron hater, but I didn't know. Yeah, you funny. You funny, Ray. All right. Hey, man. Hey, that was a good game. Went to double overtime. The Nuggets won 147-140. Cole, what was your thoughts on that game, man? And what do you think about Damian Lillard putting on that show?
I mean, it's nothing we haven't seen yet. I mean, in playoffs, he has always been not afraid of the spotlight. He's not afraid of the big shots. It could be 40 feet or 10. He's going to take it. He's going to make it. We've seen it over and over and over again. The thing that surprised me the most, I'm going to go away from the Damian Lillard, let you guys talk about it. I'm going to talk about the Nuggets. Nikola Jokic had 38, 11, and 9. Morris and Michael Porter Jr. giving you 54 points. And that guard rotation has been kind of in shambles. You had Jamal Murray go down with that injury. You have Austin Rivers playing big minutes, who wasn't even on the Nuggets to start the season. And, I mean, Rivers kind of got torched defensively, but that's what you do when you go against one of the best point guards in the league. But Michael Porter Jr. and Monty Morris, I just wanted to give them a quick shout-out because they had a big game giving Denver the lead. Obviously, we saw the missed dunk and the out-of-bounds with Portland, but Denver still had some role players that stepped up big time. That was exciting to see if you're a Denver fan getting into this next series if you win Game 6.
Man, I will say this. You know, we talked about this in Real Talk on Monday. You know, we had a start one, bench one, cut one. It was Steph, Luka, and Dame. I started Damian Lillard just for that reason. Because I know in the playoffs, when it matters, he's going to come through. You know, he's going to come through. The question is, will somebody else on his team come through? Will somebody on his team help this man win the games? And, you know, it's about time for Damian Lillard to get ready to get the heck up out of Portland. It's time for him to get up out of Portland. I mean, don't let this franchise waste your career, man. Get you a championship. Get up out of there. You too talented. You too talented, man. I mean, the dude comes in clutch every game. I mean, this dude don't cheat you at all, bro. Like, Damian Lillard is a bad man. 12 3-pointers last night. And you saw how efficient that he shot last night? Like, that's crazy, bro. And for CJ McCollum, I know he was dealing with health problems and all this all year. But to play 51 minutes and give you 18, 7, and 7. Not CJ McCollum. That's not acceptable. We need to get him 25 plus in the 30 range, bro. I mean, he needs to help Dame Lillard, bro. I mean, look at this Nuggets team. Don't no disrespect. This Nuggets team is good, okay? Joker's gonna do what he's gonna do. You know, he's gonna do. You can't stop the Joker. He's gonna do what he's gonna do. You have to stop the others. You can't let Michael Porter Jr. beat you. You know what? Heck, even if he beats you, you can't let Monty Morris outscore your bench. He outscored the Portland Trailblazers bench. I mean, if he do that, then guess what? Portland has no chance to win if he's going to do that. So this is going to be a good series down the stretch. I'm not sure how much Damian Lillard have any left in the tank, but I'm sure he got some more in the tank. But I just hope somebody step up and help him get across the finish line. But if they lose, man, get him out of Portland. It's time to go. Sometimes you can be too loyal, and sometimes it can backfire on you. Jonathan, what's your thoughts on that?
You know, every postseason is game time in Portland. I mean, that's what part it is. It's game time. And Damian Lillard, as he has showcased time and time again, he's a special player. You know, he's a marksman. He's a pure shooter. I mean, this guy has reinvented the way the three-pointer is shot now. You know, it's a three-point shooting game now because of him and the other guy in Golden State. You know, they have changed the way the game is played. And now you have Damian taking shots from the logo. I mean, it's just impressive. But he doesn't have a supporting cast. And last night, his supporting cast did not do enough to help him.
Well, I think he's a supporting cast. He's just not stepping up. I mean, CJ McCollum's a bad man. Nurkic is a bad man.
But, I mean, you know, one man can't do it by himself, man. It takes a total team effort. And, you know, that's what's been hurting Portland for many years now. They've had the superstar player. Look, I know you don't follow baseball that much, Freddie, but I'm gonna compare it to one thing in baseball, okay? And that's Mike Trout. Mike Trout plays for the Angels, right? He's never really had the production around him. He's never really had that talent around him. Only had one playoff appearance throughout his entire career. And, you know, he really has so much talent in the world. And just not enough help. That's the same situation Damian is in Portland. The only difference is that his team gets to the playoffs every year. That's the only difference. Mike Trout's team doesn't get to the playoffs. But I feel like Portland has wasted Damian Lillard's prime because the front office has failed to put those pieces around him. You know, this team doesn't really have enough front court depth. We talked about that before. This team has a prolific backcourt. But CJ McCollum some nights could be unpredictable, like we saw last night. You know, he has to be more consistent. He has to help his backcourt mate, and that is Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard cannot carry this load by himself. And it's going to come a time where he's going to get fed up and frustrated, and he's going to say, you know what, I want out of here. You know, I don't know how long you can stay loyal to a city that does not give you the reinforcements necessary to make that extra push to get to the Western Conference Finals and beyond. I mean, I don't know what else it's going to take, you know, for Portland to get better because they've had plenty of time, you know, to build around their cornerstone player, and they have failed to do so.
And you mentioned it. The front court has been absolutely abysmal. They kind of tried to readdress it. They got Norman Powell. They traded for him. I thought that was a good trade. They got rid of Rodney Hood. I personally liked Gary Trent. I don't know why that was part of the deal. I thought he was a good kind of bench piece for them. Probably could help them in this series defensively. But Carmelo Anthony, I love the man. I love watching him in time in New York, time in Denver. I like Enes Kanter. He's a very talented scorer, rebounder. But those guys get absolutely obliterated like a scab defensively every playoff series they're in. And you watch Enes Kanter be unplayable playoff series after playoff series after playoff series, and they still sign him. So like just adding on to the not incompetence because they have put a couple decent rosters. They've made the Western Conference Finals, but semi like levels of incompetence around Damian Lillard in Portland. You got guys like Anthony Simons, who's not yet panned out. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson's kind of getting big minutes here, and he's not really been in the moment. Robert Covington, I like that signing trade, whatever that was. I think it was a trade with Houston. But Enes Kanter, Carmelo Anthony, those guys got 45 minutes between the two last night, and I'm sure I don't have the plus minus in front of me, but I'm sure that's the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that.
Well, gentlemen, let's take a break on the playoffs games. There's some news that broke this morning in the city of Boston. Let me go ahead and give you guys my position on Boston before I break the news. All year long, I said Danny Ainge he has to go. Danny Ainge had plenty of opportunity to make this Boston team better. A few years ago, they could have traded for Anthony Davis. Don't you guys know that they had a better trade package for Anthony Davis than the Lakers?
Yeah, he didn't want to go there, right?
Yeah, but still, they still got to take chances. They could have traded for James Harden. They had all these draft picks and did nothing with them. I said, Danny Ainge, Brad Stevens, you have to go too. You need a new voice. That team they're not responding to you. I understand they went through all the crazy stuff, but guess what? Every team went through that this year. Guess what? You seen the San Antonio Spurs? Popovich went through it just as bad as everybody else, but guess what he did? He still had his team fight, still had his team try to compete for a playoff round. So I don't like the move of Brad Stevens getting promoted to the front office, me personally. Because what I look at, you've only been a head coach for a few years. What have you done to say you have enough experience you could work the front office? What have you done? I mean, I want to see you as a coach. I want to see you take deep playoff runs. I want to see you win a championship first. I mean, does experience even matter anymore in today's NBA? I mean, does it?
I think it's all who you know now.
Yeah, but the dude just been coaching for a few years, Jonathan.
Yeah, he's unproven. I mean, just because you have shown that you can be a brilliant coach doesn't necessarily mean you could take on a role in the front office. I mean, that's just challenging within itself. It'll be interesting to see if he can hold it down, if he can, change the direction for this franchise and right the ship in the right direction. That's going to be interesting to see. I don't know if he can do that because he has zero experience as an executive. Being an executive and a coach are two different things. I don't know. It's baffling to me that he was promoted to be the team president. I mean, do you know how heavy of a burden that is? Does he realize the challenges that are in front of him? I don't know, but it was time for Danny Ainge to go. I mean, he didn't do a great job navigating this organization. I feel like, they fell off, towards the later stages of his, tenure in Boston. I mean, I get it. I want to show the man some appreciation, right? Okay, let's give him some love for putting that big three together. Let's not forget that Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, right?
But they only won one championship, though, Jonathan. So
they only one championship is better than zero, though. So they accounted for at least one championship. But Danny Ainge, man, I think his time ran out. He wasn't really doing enough to address the team's needs. I say this again, Freddie and Cole. The team was undersized. Okay, they failed to get interior help during the trade deadline. At the trade deadline, he didn't address that. The team needed, to me, they needed another guard. And I hate to say this because I know I sound disrespectful to a guy by the name of Kemba Walker, but Kemba Walker, man, he's just too injury prone, and I think they made a mistake by paying him the money that they gave him. That's just my opinion, because I mean he was a star in Charlotte. We saw what he did. Then he comes over to Boston. He plays inconsistently. He gets injured. He's sidelined. He's not in action. And I mean it's just things that Danny Ainge could have done totally different to help put this team in a better position to win and build around a guy like Jason Tatum. Now, I will admit that was a great pick by Danny Ainge. He did a good job.
You got Jaylen Brown there, too.
Yes, and he got Jaylen Brown. So he did a good job with bringing in the wing players. But where he went wrong was by not getting enough size in that front court.
Before Cole go, I'm gonna let Cole answer this question, and then he can go into his debate.
I like Becky Hammon with the Spurs as the next head coach of the Celtics. She should get more of a look. You see, Popovich's tree is huge. Guys like Budenholzer's up there. I'm blanking on other names here, but there are Spurs assistants all over the place in the league, whether it's an assistant coach or a scout. The Popovich tree is huge. Look at Becky Hammon if you're Boston. Look at Jason Kidd if you're Boston. I think Boston needs to bring in, and we were talking about this before the show, they need to bring in a player as a coach. They need to bring in a guy that's going to be intense with their players. Marcus Smart's probably going to be out the door this season, so you have that kind of captain. I don't know what he was kind of that intensity factor for Boston, and he's going to be out the door, and he's going to be out the door, I think, as soon as the offseason hits. So you're going to have to address that. You're going to have to address the head coach of the room, and I think you can do that both. A couple names come to mind. Kidd was good in Milwaukee. Kidd's been good in L.A. That would be an option, and then Lloyd Pierce. I personally think that's probably the worst of the three mentioned, but those are names that come to my mind.
Well, the two names that come to my mind, one is Chauncey Billups, man. Chauncey Billups is a former NBA champion. I mean, he understands the game. I think he'll be a great coach. He relates to NBA players very well. I understand that analyzing and coaching are two different things as well. But, I mean, he's worthy of consideration. I think, considering his ties to some players on that Celtics roster as well. So I think it just makes a lot of sense to give Chauncey Billups a look. And then another guy that I like is Mark Jackson. I mean, Mark Jackson, man, he's deserving of another chance at the head coaching position, man. The guy has great charisma. He showed great leadership when he coached at Golden State. He built a pretty decent roster, one that could be championship worthy. So I like him as well. I think he's, I think they should make a phone call up to the ESPN ABC booth and see if he might be interested in taking on that head coaching job there in Boston.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna add this to the topic. I meant to say this the first segment. We was talking about the Lakers. Don't be surprised if Frank Vogel's gone this summer. I'm just saying, if he there, because he's been making some really questionable decisions as a head coach for the Lakers. That's all I got to say on that one.
Well, even though he's a defensive-minded coach, I liked the hire when the Lakers first brought him on. I thought he was, going to be a great coach for him, and I still like Frank Vogel. I think he's a very good coach, but I think this was all set up to push him out and put Jason Kidd in as head coach. A lot of people were saying that was rumors out here in LA that they were, planning to bring in Frank Vogel just for a short time. And if it didn't work out, they would fire him and make Jason Kidd the head coach moving forward. So that was a lot of talk out here in LA. But I will give Frank Vogel this. Even though he's making questionable decisions, and even though his substitutions and his rotations are baffling, which they are, he's a great defensive-minded coach, and that's what I like about him because he preaches defense. Before he got there, the Lakers team didn't play defense like this. You know,
What was he preaching last night?
I don't know what he was preaching last night. I mean, I really don't know. I felt like Montrezl Harrell should have been in the game, and he should have been given more minutes, but he wasn't.
I'm with you, and he don't seem like he's the happiest. He's not a 1-year deal, right?
No, it's like a 3-year deal. He's up for an extension at the end of the year. Yeah, so
it'll be interesting to see if they bring him back. At this point, I wouldn't bring Dennis Schroeder back. I'm sorry.
Can we go ahead and say the Lakers made a mistake by not bringing back Rondo?
Yeah, they did. Absolutely, they made a mistake by not bringing back Rondo. He's a floor general. Look, I don't care how old he is. You see what the Clippers are doing with him? They're back in the series all of a sudden. Because
speaking of the Clippers, let's talk about the dirty Clippers.
Oh Lord,
Jonathan, we're gonna let you go ahead and talk about this series. Can the Clippers get back in control, or you have Dallas?
Freddie, remember when I told you the other night that the pressure is on Dallas now?
Mm-hmm.
That remains true, okay? The pressure is on Dallas to win tonight. If Dallas don't win this game tonight, they're in trouble because they gave the Clippers all the momentum. Now, see, all the momentum has shifted in the Clippers' favor. So that won't be a good look for Luka. And Luka, I don't know how healthy he is. He doesn't look 100% right now. He looks injured. He looks banged up right now. So, I mean, I don't know how much production you're going to get from him. I mean, I know he's a competitor at heart. He plays with a lot of heart. But there's only so much you can do when you're not 100%. And so that's my concern going into tonight's game. I will tell you this, though. If Dallas loses this series after being up 2-0, I think Rick Carlisle's out the door.
No, I don't think Rick Carlisle can get fired. I mean, I don't think.
Well, because Mark Cuban's loyalty.
I mean, Rick Carlisle's a good coach. I mean, look what they're going against. Look what he's going against, bro. You talking?
But the Clippers haven't looked all that great either.
Yeah, but they had to hurt the man for them to beat the man because when Luka was healthy, he was whooping that you know what.
Yeah, and their defense has just stepped it up. Their defense was non-existent in the first 2 games.
I'm not gonna give my prediction yet. I'm cold. Who do you have winning this series and why?
I got Clippers and probably I'll go 7. You saw beat last year's Mavericks team. I think the Clippers are a better team than they were last year, and I think the Mavericks are a worse team than they were last year. I think Seth Curry, losing him and swapping him out for Josh Richardson, you see how great Seth has been with Philly. That would be an awesome piece to have against with a guy like Luka, who is an all ball creator, James Harden style player, isolation, look to kick, look to drive and pass out. So I think Dallas has kind of lost some of that. Porzingis hasn't looked the same, and obviously you have Luka with the neck injury. It's not something you want to see with your superstar player. But the reason I have them winning is it's simple. It's Kawhi Leonard. Like, Kawhi Leonard has been absolutely bananas in the playoffs. He's shooting 50% from 3, 65% from the field. He's averaging 33 points a game in this series. Like, nobody can stop him. They got Josh Richardson to be this perimeter defender, and he hasn't been able to. Dorian Finney-Smith everyone's taking their turns getting cooked by Kawhi in Dallas, and I think he is going to carry the Clippers to the next round. Now, when they play Utah, that's a little bit more interesting, and we can get that in a sec, but I think Kawhi Leonard carries them through this round.
You mean the guy who should have stayed in Toronto? That guy?
Yes, that guy.
2-way players in the league?
Yep.
All right, listen, man. I'm going to tell you who's going to win this series. It's going to be Dallas in 7. There's a report that Luka felt better the last couple of days off. And if he's healthy, he's going to pick back up where he left off at. He's going to bust there, you know what. I don't expect the Dallas Mavericks to shoot 50% from 3. That probably won't happen again. But I do expect his teammates to give him some help. I do expect Tim Hardaway Jr. to step up and say, I'm going to knock down a few shots. Can we get Porzingis to act like he's a big man? Get his big 7-3 behind in the post. Stop shooting all these threes like he's Steph Curry or Klay Thompson or somebody. I mean, is that a trend with big men? Because you see Anthony Davis do it a lot. You see Julius Randle in the playoffs, and you see
Porzingis Towns does it too.
That's today's NBA. No one really wants to establish a post game anymore. and be more down low. You just don't see that too much in today's NBA.
You see it with like teams like the Bucks and like Giannis. They go inside out, and that's a team that does it. And off the top of my head, I can't really think anybody else. Sixers with Simmons and Embiid, but
it's this year when Doc finally have Embiid in the post.
Yeah,
because before him he wanted to shoot faced up jump shots all the time. But I got Dallas winning the 7, man, because I don't believe in this Clippers team. I don't believe in Pandemic P. I don't believe in Kawhi Leonard. I don't believe in Ty Lue. It's going 7, Dallas.
Too wishy-washy. They're too wishy-washy of the team.
I'll say this. In the Mavericks wins, they have shot the absolute hell out of the ball. 3-pointer, they shot 47% from three-point range in the first game, shot 52% from the three-point range in the second game. They would go to game 3, they come back down to, or they did not come back down there. It still shot 50% from 3, lost that game. And then game 4, they came way down to earth, shot 16%, 5 for 30. So in the games that they've hit more than 23s, yeah. But how many times how are you going to count on that roster hit threes? Luka's a 35% career three-point shooter. We just talked about Porzingis' struggles. Like, no Seth Curry. You're relying a lot on Tim Hardaway and some Maxi Kleber minutes and Jalen Brunson to step up. And I don't know. I just don't like it. As wishy-washy as the Clippers kind of people behind Kawhi are, I think is about the same for the Mavericks too. So I think the Clippers have a little bit more pedigree. That's the difference for me.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right, before we end this show, let's see the Hawks and let's go over the Hawks and the Knicks game series. Cole,
that game was chippy.
Yeah, Trey was getting in with Nerlens. Hawks
Trey
are up 12.
was talking, man. He was chirping.
Trey is just leaning into being like the best villain for
oh yeah, he's probably enemy number 1.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
I mean,
he has brought so much excitement to the game. He's kind of like Fernando Tatis Jr., man, in baseball.
It's a good cross comparison.
So much energy and so much excitement.
Challenging kind of like the unwritten rules type deal. Trey's got an 8 tonight.
Yep.
And I'm just going to put this out there. I don't know why ever the Reds just thought it was a good idea to get rid of Clint Capella. Clint Capella is 14 and 11 tonight. It's like he is a perfect guy around the rim at one, and we'll get it's going to be Hawks Sixers. I don't care if it's 5 or 6 for the Hawks. Embiid has a torn meniscus. I don't care how big and strong you are. I don't care all the medical humble jumbo. I'm not that smart. I'm no doctor, but torn meniscus. That guy's a big dude. That's a lot of weight on a knee that he's kind of been in and out all his career. So you look at the Hawks, they're going to have to rely on a guy like Capella or a John Collins because Trae Young's going to get locked down by Ben Simmons, Matisse Thybulle. I'm just – that's not a good matchup for him. So you have to look those ways of Collins, Clint Capella. And when you don't have that big man rotation of Joel Embiid, that's a lot on Dwight Howard. And it's a lot on Tobias Harris. And I talk about wishy-washy guys. I don't know about them either, so.
Yeah, well, you can be happy for the progress you made, but you're going home.
Yeah.
I mean, the Knicks team, what they need to work on this offseason is shooters. They need to bring shooting in.
Where was Julius Randle? Where was he?
Would you pay him this offseason? Would anybody pay him this offseason?
No. Where was he?
Yes, you'll pay him, but
not what he wants. He don't want like 25 to 30.
He was during the regular season.
He don't want that most improved player money. He
got to get his big behind in the post. Same thing like I said about Porzingis and Anthony Davis. You can't float around that perimeter all the time. You have to get your big behind in the post.
He's got to attack the basket and draw some contact and get to the free throw line.
Exactly.
Well, you watch the Hawks.
RJ Barrett to me is overrated. I'm sorry.
I didn't like him out of college. He's a scrapper. He likes getting to the rim. He's crafty around the rim, but he shoots way too much. His jumper is not good.
He's definitely crafty around the rim. He could get it done productively under the basket. I get all that, but the man can't shoot. He's another.
I like that, and in a good way. I didn't like him out of college. His free throw percentage in college was brutal, and that's a wide open 15-footer. Like he shot like 60% for free throw, and that coming.
Yeah.
Got to see and be like.
Gotta knock those down, man. Gotta knock those free throws down. They'll hurt you every time if you don't.
Yeah, and back to the Randall point, like the Hawks just figured him out in a game. I feel like the Knicks kind of caught people by surprise this year. Randall was kind of playing that isolation off the left side.
Yeah.
Like left wing, kind of driving kick. Hawks just kind of buried him in that corner, doubled him with Hunter and Collins, and made other people beat them. And we've seen how that's been. So now that word's out on the Knicks, I don't think we're going to see the same success next year. That's my take on them. So
and Nate McMillan deserves to have the interim tag removed.
Yes, agreed.
I would not mind him being a coach for the Lakers, so don't sign him. He might be gone.
Now getting Bogdanovich and
Danilo. Hey, he's another defensive-minded coach. Why not?
All right, before we end the show, we're gonna go predictions on tomorrow, Game 6, the Lakers versus the Suns. I'm gonna let Cole go because right now he might be the only one thinking with sense, and me and Jonathan might be thinking with a lot of emotion. So, Cole, who do you have winning Game 6 tomorrow?
One team's going to be flying back to Phoenix after that game. So that's what I'm going to say. I think the Suns take it. I think Ayton is going to be too much of it to handle if Davis is out still. That's a lot. The only way if Harrell gets in, Schroeder's going to have to hit big shots. And you got to have Caruso step up. But if Kentavious Caldwell-Pope's injury in this, I can't believe I'm saying this in 2021. If Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is not healthy, that hurts because that's a rotational guard you plug in and you expect him to give you 25 good minutes. He's going to play off LeBron. He's going to hit an open three when he can. He doesn't look to pass when he has those open looks. So you kind of just a plug and play guy. If he's not healthy, if AD is not healthy, I think it's a walk in the park for the Suns. But that tinfoil hat thing too is kind of holding me back. But
Jonathan, who do you have?
I'm sorry, Freddie. I'm sorry, man. I feel like we're going to be staging the funeral tomorrow night for the Los Angeles Lakers, my friend. You know, I mean, I hate to sound like a Debbie Downer. I hate to talk like this about our team. But, you know, I got to be unbiased here, man, and say that it's over for the Los Angeles Lakers. I think that Game 5 loss, which was mass destruction, I think that was just too deflating of a loss for the Lakers. You know, and like I told you earlier, I just don't see them recovering from this. You know, especially if Anthony Davis is not available tomorrow night. You know, LeBron has proven that he can't do it alone. And if they don't have KCP, like Cole said, he made a good point there, then this series is over. I mean, and you know, Devin Booker, I think is going to be an offensive threat for the Lakers tomorrow. They showed time and time again in this series that they really have no answer for him when he's on his game. So, I mean, I think Devin Booker has a monster performance, and I think Ayton will dominate the boards tomorrow, and the Lakers will go down in defeat and have to try it again next year.
All right. Anthony Davis will be playing tomorrow night. I expect LeBron James to come out aggressive. I demand LeBron James to come out aggressive. I demand Dennis Schroeder to come out knocking down shots. I demand KCP knocking down wide open threes. I demand Andre Drummond being the big penguin like everybody want to call you and give you a double-double. I'm gonna just lean on faith when I say this. I think the Lakers will win. I think we'll be have a Game 7, flying back out to Phoenix. I sure do hope so. We shall see. Well, gentlemen, that's another episode of Just Say the Truth. Cole, thank you for coming on. You did a good job on your first show.
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Absolutely. A lot of fun.
And Jonathan, shout out to you out there in Southern California with the nice breeze. All you missing is a good drink in your hand.
I got that right here. I just didn't want to drink on the job, fellas.
Hey, man, you better stop drinking that Corona so you won't catch Corona. All right, gentlemen, this is another episode of Just Say the Truth. here at the ASAP Network. You guys have a wonderful night, and we are out.